Welcome to 5 Minutes a Day. If you're just stopping by, we are a tool of, it's at least 5 minutes a day, right? So the best way to use this tool is to read the passage, to listen to the video, because I've done the work. I've read through the commentaries and I've looked at scripture. I looked at the original writings and lots of texts. And so I've done the work for us. So then you can listen to the video and maybe gain insight on this text that you hadn't seen before. And then spend some time in reflection and responding how God would like you to respond to this text. And spend some time praying. So just go deeper. So go ahead and like, because that brings other people to see our videos, and subscribe. Good morning and welcome to a new week of devotions. Welcome to Monday. And we are going through the story of Jacob, but his name is now changed to Israel and his family. And this next part is a real sordid piece of history and in Israel's history. So what happened, they are in a land where they're not supposed to be. And so let's look at Genesis chapter 34, and it's the whole chapter, so 1 through 31. So go ahead and read it on your own. So remember, God was leading them back to Bethel, but out of fear, because he didn't want to be too close to Esau, he went the opposite way, and he ends up in this area. And so he's choosing this place to live for all the wrong reasons, right? He didn't ask God. Well, God told him where to go, and he was disobedient. But he also chose the city. He wanted to live close to a city. Now, doesn't that sound familiar? That's kind of what happened to Lot, right? So being too close to the enemy, so to speak, can have a lot of ramifications, right? If for us, it's like being too part of the world, letting the world in and intimate relationships that we have. And so for them, they were too close to the city. And so at this time, Jacob had 11 sons, right? The youngest hadn't been born yet. And he has one daughter. And so her name is Dinah. And what we know about Dinah is that she goes off, she decides to go off with the daughters of the land, of the city. So she goes off, and this area, Canaan, is immoral. And so to have your daughter go out unsupervised and unchaperoned was not wise of Jacob and Leah. And so that really, it goes on their failure as well. And so it says that he sees Dinah and she's beautiful, and so Shechem, he takes Dinah and he violates her, right? And so then he goes to his dad and he's basically saying, I want her to be his wife, to be my wife. And so then what happens is Shechem's father goes to talk to Jacob. And Jacob does not respond. He doesn't respond as a father, as a leader of his household. And instead, he says he held his peace until his sons came from the fields. So he was kind of waiting on his sons. But he was the head of this household. He was Dinah's father. He needed to make the decision. And you see in this interaction, too, there's no remorse on Shechem. There's no consequence, right? It's like, oh yeah, I violated her, but now I want to marry her. And so his refusal to do what is right in regard to his family will encourage two of his sons to do something terrible in response, right? So he didn't do anything. And then, so what happens is the offer of Hamor is dangerous, right? Hamor says, yes, let's intermingle, right? Because he sees that Jacob has all this wealth, right? He has all these sons. He's like, let's have our daughters marry your sons, your daughter marry our son. And and then we'll share, we'll get kind of assimilated together. And this is danger, right? This is not what God wanted. God does not want assimilation here, right? Because they're following pagan gods, and this is not what God wanted. And so the two sons, right, Simeon and Levi, they come up with this plan, and they said, okay, we will marry, but we can't marry, she can't marry someone who's not circumcised. We can't marry, we can't intermingle. And so they go back to the town, and they say, if we do this, then we can have all, we could have access to what they have, to their wealth and their, their children. This is a good thing. And so then they circumcise, every male gets circumcised. And on the third day, which I guess is pretty painful, right, they come, just Levi and Simeon come, and with swords they kill every single male. And then they take off, they plunder, basically. They take the women and children to be slaves, and they plunder and take the livestock. And so this is really bad. This is not, this is not justice. This is revenge. And what they also did, they did a mockery of God's covenant of circumcision, right? That was something that God called them to do, and they mocked that by using it as a ruse to go and have these men be vulnerable and then attack. And so even when we see Jacob, we don't see him really making a stand or even have compassion, because his daughter is basically ruined, right? And so instead, his response is again out of fear, right? A lot of times Jacob is motivated out of fear. He's like, he doesn't even say, this was wrong what you did. We should have let Yahweh render revenge or justice. Instead, what he says, that now everybody else is going to come after us, right? Now all the other Canaanites around us, they're not going to like this, and they're going to retaliate and come after us. So he responds in fear. So this whole incident, and we'll see ramifications from this later on also. So, all right. We're not waiting, what are the lessons here? Not making a decision for your family, not really taking care of your family, right? Dinah should have never been off unsupervised, and then he didn't respond. He didn't make a decision on his own, and because he didn't, the sons made the decision for him, and it was an evil one. So there's consequences definitely to our actions that we will see in the future. All right, have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow. And remember, 5 minutes in the Word can change your life.